And we got big brands in Web3 news as Binance Smart Chain teams up with Google Cloud. We have JPMorgan on the hunt for a Web3 expert, and Ethereum's merge could bring 1 billion users to Web3. And for our first story, another day, another $125 million Web3 venture funding. And this seriously has been the narrative the last couple weeks. Every time I do one of these news segments, it starts with $100 million figures coming from VC funds trying to develop in the Web3 space. Is because they see the potential here. They know it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's an immovable force. All these venture capital companies know that in the future, we don't know when, maybe 5 years, maybe 10 years down the road, there will be some kind of decentralized compute network that's based on trust. And if you're not innovating the space, you will be left behind. And that's not all here. We have Near is launching a $100 million VC fund for Web3, and Web3 games and Metaverse projects have attracted nearly $750 million in investments since August. This isn't since the beginning of the year. This is since last month. Almost $1 billion has pumped into the Web3 space from venture capital companies. And you know what that tells me is the smartest people who are managing the largest funds on planet Earth all see the trends. They know it's coming. They need to start innovating in the space ASAP or they're going to get left behind. And this next one here is really interesting. Grand Theft Auto creator backs Web3 gaming studio in $7.6 million round. Now I know $7.6 million doesn't seem like a lot when in my previous article I was talking about $750 billion in the last 2 months. No, $750 million in the last 2 months. But what I want to extrapolate out of this article is the Grand Theft Auto creator is interested. He's having conversations in Web3 and he's even putting money where his mouth is. And so what gets me excited is the idea that this next Grand Theft Auto game might have some kind of Web3, maybe even cryptocurrency story arc within the game. And the rumors have gone one step further that maybe there will be some kind of play to earn NFT, maybe even cryptocurrency airdrops built into the game. From what I've read, we're not going to actually be able to play the game until 2024. And so a lot of development to still be made. And these are rumors, you know, a lie travels around the world before the truth can step out the door. And so who knows? I just like getting excited about the idea that big players like Grand Theft Auto 6, maybe one of the biggest games to come out in the next 5 years, might have a little bit of Web3 integration, and this article is evidence to the proof that is in the pudding that I will dig out later off camera. Too hot for TV. Next story here, Web3 gaming still growing despite economic woes, according to DappRadar report. So this is so exciting. It's kind of just like rejuvenating, especially when the markets are down. You know, the winter has come. There's no good news. Even the U.S. economy is dumping. It looks like we're about to go to war in Taiwan. But there is good news in the Web3 gaming space. They are still growing despite all of this negative energy, all the bad vibes in the world right now. And it all has to do with these venture capital companies. Go to the previous couple articles I was talking about. There were $100 million here, $100 million there, getting dumped in since August alone. I would love to find out what the year-to-date numbers are. It's probably several billion dollars are flowing into Web3 and Web3 gaming and Metaverse, et cetera, et cetera. And so that's how they're doing it. They're being propped up by venture capital companies who see the potential. They know it's an unstoppable force. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. One day, there will be a decentralized computing network based on trust. And if you are not participating and innovating in that space, you will get left behind, just like Blockbuster and just like Xerox, to name a few. Binance Smart Chain teams up with Google Cloud to accelerate Web3 development. Now, what's ludicrous about this is that Google and Binance are just now teaming up. They are just now making the announcement that they are just now teaming up. This gets me so excited. I feel electric knowing that we're this early in the space, that titans like Google are just now starting their development. They probably had a team together for a couple weeks now. They've probably been working on some stuff for a while before they even made this announcement, but they're still not releasing a beta anytime soon. They might not have anything stood up for another year. And so that just gets me so excited that big titans, venture capital companies are just now starting to build in the space. If those of you who are watching this and those of you who are researching the space and those of you who are putting your money in Web3, you're early and big stuff is coming in the future. JPMorgan is on the hunt for a Web3 expert as it eyes expansion into digital markets. Smart move, JPMorgan. I know you're headhunting right now. You're trying to find the best person you can. And so you have a PR agency releasing articles like this to be like, hey, if you're into Web3, we're hiring and we got JPMorgan money to pay you. So please bring your best, bring your brightest. We are trying to hire a Web3 professional, but also so is every other Fortune 100, if not Fortune 500 company is going to need some kind of Web3 exposure. They're going to need some kind of Web3 expert, if not a whole team of Web3 engineers and developers just to stay on top of this, what I always call a self-fulfilling prophecy. So many people are behind it. So much money is flowing into the space. Again, $750 million since August alone. So JPMorgan would be foolish not to hire at least one, if not a couple dozen Web3 experts. And so if you're into Web3, hit up JPMorgan. And you know what? Send your resume to every Fortune company, Fortune 1000 company, because I know they're hiring, even if they don't want to admit it. And for our last story here, Ethereum's merge could bring 1 billion users to Web3, and this is coming from Polygon's co-founder. Now, he's a little bit biased because he's the Polygon co-founder, and that's built on top of Ethereum, and so of course he's a little bit of an Ethereum maxi here. He was smart to not include a date in his Nostradamus-esque prediction here, because yeah, there will be eventually 1 billion people in Web3, 10 years, 20 years, 100 years from now, who knows? But if you think about the internet, there was a time when there were only a couple 100 million people who were using it, and now most of the world, several billion people participate in the internet every single day. And so yeah, of course, eventually, once we get full institutional adoption, people like Google, all these VC companies finally stand up the businesses they're dumping money into right now. Yeah, sure, we will see 1 billion people. They will be foolish not to interact with Web3 when all of the largest corporations are participating in the space. People will flock in as soon as it's marketed and streamlined and, most importantly, secure. We will have 1 billion people, but he was smart. He did not include a date.